In this video, I am going to be going over the new addressable demon eyes that we will be selling. I'm going to be comparing them to some of the more traditional demon eyes, just the RGB and several RGBW options. I have the profile, which is what I've used quite a bit in the past. The current option that I use on non-addressable builds is this one. It's actually some custom ones that we had made up. This one here is from Colorworks, a little bit older, something that I just had and pulled out. Figured I'd go ahead and include that. And these are all in Mini H180, the Morimotos. As well as this is our new addressable one. As you can see, it's pretty bright comparatively. I mean, the goal here was mainly to accomplish the same level as what these are, but I think we've kind of surpassed it a little bit. And etching makes this look a lot better. These are just plain lenses, no etching on them or anything. If they were all etched, it pops more because you have that contrast to bounce the light off of. But in this case, this is direct comparison of the 4 different styles that I have here, as well as I do have 2 sets of the Mini D2S. This set here will get, I will show you how to install our new addressable Demon Eye into that set. But yes, so I guess go ahead and start with that. So they come in a pack like this. So this is one Demon Eye. So if you order a pair, which is just, they are sold as pairs, you will get 2 of these bags. This is still kind of an early run of these. There's room for improvement. Things that I've already kind of come up with, we will be adding quick connects in here, so if you need to run these out the back of the lights or something, you would be able to, as well as extending this to 300 millimeters instead of 200, which it is right now. This is the driver, and here is the plugs. You have the standard 3-pin JSTs, and the way this works, because most everybody's using 5 volt, I had them made where the 5 volt passes through, because this is a 12 volt LED. So the 5 volt passes through, and it's just data lines going to the board. And so the data line goes into the board, comes back out of the board, and goes here, and the 5 volt just passes right by the LED. So you have these 2 pigtails that come off, red for power, black for ground. And you can run those literally just straight to the battery with a fuse in between, and you'll be perfectly fine. That's how I've done them so far, and I haven't had a single problem. They are pretty resilient. I've ran up to 14, 15 volts overnight, a couple days, and it didn't seem to cause any issues, any ill effects. The drivers are pretty sturdy, so nothing like normal addressable. You got to do some different things, inverters and voltage regulators and stuff, depending on what you're running. You won't have to worry about that with this 12 volt side. On the other side is your Demon Eye. It is RGBW. You can see the size of those diode chips are pretty big, and that's one of the reasons they're just so bright. This is a 12 watt, 12 volt. At full power, because this is RGBW, all the LEDs will never be on at the same time, so it actually only puts out about a half amp. Even though if everything was on, it would be a full amp, but it only puts out about half amp. This is also included. This is the heatsink. This is optional. I mean, I've ran these without them and never had a problem. They do get hot, so I had the heat sinks added with the packaging, just in case. Go ahead and throw them on there. If you got room for it, throw it on. Nobody wants to have to tear a light apart because something doesn't work. Obviously, we do the 3-month warranty on these with the optional 2-year if that's something you feel like you need. I'm trying to keep price low on these. I'm not trying to make a ton of money. I'm just trying to help sell something that I hope you guys can use. I know it's something I can use, and the more of these that I can buy, the better pricing that I can get, which means I can pass that on to you guys again. So if this works out really well, I look forward in the future to potentially being able to lower it. Currently it's at $50 for a pair. I'd like to try to get closer to like 40, but a lot of that's just going to depend on what my quantities are when I order. So hopefully that works out. But so that is what I got. Now I've been working on brackets, so like it kind of depends on what you use these on. A lot of times with Demon Eyes, if you've done a lot of retrofits, you have to kind of get creative in how you mount them. If you're using standard projectors like these, not so much. Usually you've got a bracket. I actually have designed this. I have the 3D file for this. If you order a set of Demon Eyes and you want the 3D file, let me know. I will send it to you free of charge. You can print out your own. I recommend ABS material. I will probably, once I get my machine a little more dialed in, this filament is full of moisture, so it's kind of rough around the edges, but proof of concept, it works pretty well. The way this works, make sure I got the right one here. Yeah, so the 3-inch, so I got a 3-inch and a 2.5. So the 2.5 for the Mini H1, and then the D2S with the 3-inch. This slides right in like this, and the heat sink will actually go right on top and hold it in place. So just peel that right off. And you just line it up with the bracket itself. Just kind of press it firmly to make sure you got it nice and stuck, and there it is. So it's actually somewhat low profile for what it is, but it gets very bright, and obviously probably the coolest part about it is that it is addressable. So if you run an addressable in your headlights, you don't have to have a separate controller for your Demon Eyes. You don't have to worry about that. You'd also enjoy the fact that this will tie in with all of the other lights. You can set this within your controller. There's a couple different options you can actually do, where you can run your brake line to a switch and set your brake color to, say, blue or red or whatever color you want it to be for your Demon Eye, and then if you just flip a switch in the car, it would turn that on. You have the other option of running this as a DRL2 or even a 1. You could run it on the same color as the DRLs, or you could run it as a DRL2 and make your Demon Eyes turn on. Let's say you want them red and you want your DRLs white. You could have red Demon Eyes, white DRLs, and they would turn on with your headlights when they turn on. Obviously within show modes, you can set them to flow with the lights. You can turn off the show modes, you can turn off the DRLs, you can turn off any of the functions within each individual Demon Eye. If you want to set them up to flow through the Demon Eyes, you will have to set each Demon Eye up as a section. So keep that in mind with your limit of 10 sections in a headlight. That could create an issue, possibly. It depends. My truck's got 8 of these things in them, so yeah, it didn't really cause me any issues, but you never know. So, alright, back to install. So, it's really not too bad with the brackets. Literally just going to slide right in like normal. And if this is something that you want added on to have the brackets, let me know. I I mean, there will be a small fee for it because it does, you know, take some materials to do. But, you know, I'm thinking a couple bucks. It shouldn't be bad. So just like that. So it sits pretty flush with the along the top, so it doesn't really add a whole lot of heft to it. You know, maybe a hair more than some of the other ones, but it's not much. As far as running the wires goes, just kind of like that, just right down the back is fine. I haven't had any case where these have fallen out yet or anything, so I don't think that'll be an issue. But work with me, guys. Let me know if you guys have any issues, any things you want changed. I will work with them to try to change up design a little bit. But go ahead and get these plugged in. Come right back. Alright, so I went ahead and ran a couple little connectors for me. So this one was my power, and this one is my ground. And so just go ahead and show you comparisons. So old versus new. It's pretty bright comparatively. I'll say these are clearly visible in daylight. I have never had a time where I cannot tell my demonizer on. They're bright. With these, the ones that we're using right now, I would say most of the time you can see them. But there have been times where, you know, the sun's hitting the car just right on the front side of the car. You can't see it. It kind of washes it out a little bit. Yeah. Obviously, none of these are going to overpower your actual headlights. So, you know, don't expect miracles like that. But I'm very happy with the output of these. I have currently them installed on 3 of my cars. There are 4 of them on one car, 2 of them on another, and 8 of them on the last car. So quite a few hours on all of them collectively, and had 0 issues whatsoever on these. Anyone that I've sent them to test out has had 0 issues. Very confident in the results of these. I've had some failures with other brands. I'm not going to mention any names here, but, you know, very, very, very happy with the results of what I've had with these so far. I don't know how they will do with HID, so I cannot comment on that, but I will say this. In general, if you're not aware, it's not a great idea to run addressable LEDs with an HID setup. The heat from the HIDs will generally overheat your strips and start to make stuff fail, like LEDs. So in general, that's not a great idea to begin with. So keep that in mind if you want to try to run these with HIDs. My personal opinion, I think these will outlast the rest of the LEDs in your headlight if you're running an addressable headlight with HIDs in them. Like I said, I have not been able to make these fail. I've put them in the oven. I have, while running in the oven, couldn't fail. I put them on RGB, and if you take an RGBW, you put it in RGB mode in the app, and you turn it to white, it will force all LEDs to turn on, so that you can actually push this to 1 amp if you do that. It's not the proper way to run this, but it's a pretty good torture test for addressable LEDs. You'll find that most halos and strips will start to flicker after a little bit just because they are running at full heat at that point. 4 LEDs at full power. No, ran it for like hours, no problem whatsoever. It was the heat. It just got so hot that I didn't want to leave it running unattended for a long period of time with that. I mean, like right now, I'm touching the heat sink. This has been on for a while. I'm touching it. It's nothing. I mean, it's not bad, but, you know, comparatively, it is more than the other one. So, you know, it's heat-wise, that's why I added the heat sink. It's not bad. I don't want to make it out to be worse than it is, but I don't want the heat to surprise anybody. There is some heat to it, but, you know, 12 watts, it's a pretty hefty LED. So there you go. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will do what I can to answer them. If you have any design ideas, let me know. Assuming that it doesn't drastically increase the price point, I'm sure that some of it can be done. I have reached out to companies about getting brackets made, but unfortunately the MOQs are really, really high. I don't know that I'd ever be able to use, you know, 10,000 of these. So I don't know that that's going to be a possibility. But in a lot of cases, and so far in every light that I've installed these in, I don't even use brackets. I've just used other methods to mount them, just depending on the projector that I use. So that may be the case for whatever you're using it for. If not, though, I have made these for the Mini H1s and the D2Ss. So thanks for watching, and if you would like to purchase, I will have a link in the description, and hope to hear some feedback. So before we go, I'm going to go ahead and switch some of these over to different colors, just to give you a basic idea. Here is blue. Of course, I'm running two different apps here. Blue. And then we'll go to green. And finish off with white. So all in all, very happy with the output, very happy with the product that we were able to create, and hopefully it's something you guys can use.